Hello everybody and welcome back to Watching Walford. Today I'm going to highlight one of my favourite storylines currently going on in the Soapland. It's going to be a Hollyoaks storyline. It's going to be called Ones to Watch, and it is the Rafe Harcourt, the Sienna Blake, and Ethan and Dilly. Okay, so for the premise of this. Okay, so we have to start from the very beginning. Okay, so Sienna as a character is very twisted, has had some very well documented mental health struggles. One of her, I think her key big like formative storyline was the storyline where she did go ahead and steal Nancy's life. This was obviously Nancy while she was with Darren. She tried to slowly worm her way in there and just take over Nancy's life, and it's one of like the best things. It has that amazing explosive reveal when Nancy shows up out of nowhere, rips this dress off, exposes the fake belly, and just recently watched this lately. Incredible storyline, absolutely fantastic. And obviously, so that means that Sienna has a way of doing things. Obviously, she was the daughter to Patrick Blake, a serial abuser, and manipulated everyone and everything to get what they wanted. And Sienna is someone who doesn't really stop at anything. The boundaries that normal people get when they do something aren't really felt with Sienna. She will do whatever it takes to get what she wants. And she's with Ethan, who was brought in as Dave Chen Williams' brother. Not really anybody interesting, but Ethan, you know, he was a small fish in a big pond. He was the girlfriend to Maya, who proceeded to quickly die as she was a bit cutthroat and wanted to like pretty much ruin Darren's life. And you know, through time, Ethan started to shine a little bit more. He started to kind of like get rid of some of the rougher edges, get out of the crime world, and then just get into a very intense, very fiery relationship with Sienna. Now these two banded up together as they have a nice little family unit with Sienna, Ethan, and Sienna and Warren's twins, Sebastian and someone else. It doesn't matter. Gonna bug me though. Obviously they want to set up like a very nice little existence. And they decide, fuck it, we want a really cool living. We want to bring this all together. So where'd they go? They went to bet on a horse race. It was a surefire bet. And they got out 10 grand of all the money they had, and they bet that on a horse. They did plan on betting on the tip that Ethan had, but then Sienna kind of managed to get into the VIP suite and found a man called Rafe Harcourt. Now, obviously, Rafe is this, like, affluent, like, lord, or earl, rather, you know, like, comes from money, full of money, spaffs out money, full of cash. High society, and, you know, he's like, oh yes, well, my horse is a sure thing. So, obviously, she gets a bit, she romanticizes the thing, like, yes, Rafe, that's a great idea. And so eventually they learn, you know, they bet on the horse loses, they're now out of money, and Sienna wants Rafe to pay for the stuff, as it was supposed to be for a donation. Rafe pays for it himself, and it leaves Sienna, like, kind of ruined. But then through, I believe, a meeting, she learns that Rafe is entitled to his dad's inheritance, but he has to marry, because his dad was seemingly a controlling type, you know, something that Sienna could relate to, and wanted to fuck with him after he died. So Ethan and Sienna hatched the plan, essentially going, look, if you marry Rafe, you get that money, and then you do a very quick divorce. And it's like, okay, cool. So this obviously happens. Sienna keeps trying, but then a surprise blonde comes out of nowhere, and it turns out to be Dilly, who is Rafe's sister, who also happens to be an addict. They wanted to use the addict fact against Rafe, but simply it wasn't Rafe who was the addict, it was his sister. So yeah, Dilly gets involved, and Dilly is a match for Sienna. She knows how to get under her skin, and, you know, it's kind of formed this nice little bond with Ethan. And Oh, it's absolute dynamite, motherfuckers. Absolutely top tier, grade A soap chemistry. But you know, we don't really look about it. But you know, Ethan actually thinks like, yo, you know, he tells her that she's had substance abuse issues. She was a cocaine addict. And Ethan knows this. Doesn't tell Sienna, but Sienna finds out, and Sienna plants some coke in Rafe's car, and then sets Dilly up, and she has to go to rehab. And it's like, nah, Sienna, just how far will you go? Ethan's unhappy. Rafe is unhappy, but the story continues. The story continues as we then see, like, you know, Sienna try to ease a little bit closer. But we also start to see a bit of a difference. Ethan starts to stand up for Dilly a little bit more. You know, he starts to actually decide, you know what? I like you. I'm not going to let you get pushed around by your brother. And, you know, eventually she sees Ethan and Sienna, like, shagging in the club office. Tells Rafe, causes an issue. He heads off to France in an absolute huff. Doesn't know what to do. So, you know, big, scary, shocking, etc. But, you know, eventually he comes back and he wants Sienna, and he, you know, it doesn't matter that you slept with Ethan. It's all fine. But in the meanwhile, Ethan starts to stand up for Dilly a little bit more, and now we're starting to see a bit more chemistry go. As, you know, Ethan doesn't really want to be a part of this plan anymore, but Sienna will stop at nothing to ensure that the plan is successful. So there we go. And now we've kind of reached a boiling point where there was a night where Ethan and Dilly like had a massive kiss, and it's like, oh, did we sleep together? Did we not sleep together? The answer is no, they did not sleep together. But, you know, you can tell that there's a clear connection brewing between them. And that's kind of where we're at. And we also see that Sienna is kind of harboring a lot of feelings for Rafe. During a quick bunk up, Sienna calls Ethan Rafe, and he's like, what the fuck? What the fuck, man? But yeah, and that's kind of where we're at with Hollyoaks currently. The Sienna, Rafe, and Ethan and Dilly storyline. I was initially very... I was like, this is going to be garbage, man. This is going to be rough. But, like, every part is working. You know, you have Ethan who wants to be hard, but he's actually a pussycat. You know, you have Sienna who'll stop at nothing. You have Rafe who is this, like, high, like, lordship, you know, and his sister who is a match for Sienna. And it is genuinely one of my, like, it is one of the ones to watch. It's one of the ones to look through, find someone clipping all the Sienna stuff, watch it on Channel 4, because we need the numbers, but it's been absolutely fantastic, because it keeps sprouting out. You know, storylines usually go from A to B to C, but this one's fucking went way. And hey, I'm all here for it. I want these twisting, winding storylines, and honestly, I'm down for Ethan and Dilly. Have you guys been enjoying this storyline? Would you like to hear me cover some of my favorite storylines elsewise in soap? It's a lot more of a chill one, just kind of going through my recollection of the tales. But yeah, thank you for watching. Tell me if you like the Rafe and Sienna or Ethan Dilly. Do you ship either partnership? And thank you all for the support on the last Hollyoaks video. I do aim to make some more Hollyoaks based content, as I did just realise, like, I do love Hollyoaks. I do love Coronation Street. Do love EastEnders. Did get a bit into Emmerdale for a while, but then it fell off. But, you know, I would like to talk about some of my favourite aspects of the shows. But yeah, I've been Ash from watching Walford. Thank you for watching my video on the ones to watch, that being Rafe and Sienna and Ethan and Dilly. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.